Welcome to the Smart Drive Podcast, where driving expertise meets real talk. And my name is Simon Horton, an EV enthusiast and advanced driver.
My name is Ashley Neal, and I'm a driving instructor by trade, but I dabble a little bit on YouTube and try to help the driving population with some potentially useful videos.
You do indeed, mate. Do indeed. There's been some interesting ones this week. What was the one I was watching earlier today? About lane adherence on motorways and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that was quite good. Going back into the archives a bit on that one as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah. To be honest, it's like I've mentioned it before on here. I've got plenty of clips, and the only thing that was a benefit with my memory storage failure was when I got them back. It took me a good 6 weeks or so to reorganize them, but they're now all in proper folders of specific topics. So for me to put something together like that was actually a little bit easier. I didn't have to go trawling through all the records. I had the folder there. I just really had to, come up with the 10 points and just go and do a little bit of piece to camera. But there's many things to that one. What was your standout point for that? Why do you think lane discipline is so poor, Simon?
I think it's laziness, if I'm being perfectly honest. You've got a little bit of the entitlement of, why should I move over? I'm just here, but just laziness and no real observations as to the problems they're, in most cases, causing behind them.
And that probably summarises most of the problems on the road, if I was honest. That was an easy solution to driving, wasn't it? There's my channel finish. It's because of laziness. So, I agree with you. But that was a decent one to put together. I've pushed a couple of buttons. There was one that I stuck out earlier on today about me flashing someone out. There's bits there's things that you need to try and stick to. Don't flash to Beckham and bits and bobs, but driving is not black and white. There may just be something that you just have to. I think it was first phrased by John, one of my long-time subscribers. He said it's something that's in the bottom of the tool bag that you rarely use, but occasionally you have to use it. I think that summarises it quite nicely. I flashed someone out to get them out and through a tricky situation a little sooner, to enable flow a little sooner. I was so far back and just in a single lane of traffic, it wasn't ever going to be misread by anyone, but it's not something that I would advise doing.
No, I would completely go along with that. And in things that have cropped up this week as well. Should I start with this? I need to make an apology.
No, you don't. Just dig your feet in, double down on it and say, I was right.
No, gosh.
That's just what I've been accused of doing over the last month or so. So that's why I thought I'd throw that one in, Simon. That's a bit tongue-in-cheek, by the way, listeners and subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely. No, in the last podcast, when we were enjoying the surroundings of Alton Park, viewers of our podcast may have seen that I made an on-screen correction to some information where you asked me a question about myself and I didn't know the answer, which is quite embarrassing. I gave an incorrect figure as to what the total mileage I'd driven was. I was way off. So I just need to apologise for not knowing my own mileages, but it's around 740,000 is my total mileage driven.
That's good going. That is way more than me, to be honest. I probably could do with totting it up. I don't think I've done anywhere near that. Even the years as a driving instructor, you're probably doing 30,000 a year, probably maybe 15 years at that. But the other times, even being a footballer, for me to go from Fazakerley in Liverpool to West Derby in Liverpool to go training, that isn't a big jaunt. I probably could have ran it. So no, I don't think I've done anywhere near your mileage, Simon.
Yeah, I always seem to find girlfriends that are a long way away as well. That racked up my mileage. Yeah.
Good effort. Flying
that probably says a lot about me.
Yeah, good effort. Have you been up to anything yourself, mate? Has been anything on your agenda? Anything interesting happening?
Not a lot, to be honest. Certainly not in the car aspect of things. Okay. I've been got the car ready for a trip to France, which is coming up shortly. In fact, by the time this video goes out, I'll be back. There. So okay. It's all good, really. I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting to see. I've got the roof box fitted. Noise-wise, it's not that bad. I mean, I know I've not done auto route speeds yet, but I've had it up to the 70 on the motorway. Okay. Never sort of really registered it more than just a bit of a wind whistle, and efficiency was as I thought. It's taken about 10% off.
Okay, that would be my next question about, I was going to ask you to keep track of the data, but that was a bit silly of me even attempting to ask that.
I'm offended. I'm offended.
Good effort. I must admit, Simon, I'm tempted with one as well. I'm tempted with the roof box with the two dogs and everything that goes with that you've got to take if you're taking the dogs away. I think I need one. So that's going to be on my purchase list quite soon. I might come for a little bit of advice, to be honest, on sizes and makes and models. If any of our listeners and our viewers have got any particular roof boxes that they could recommend, I'd appreciate a little bit of info in the comments as well. That would be a big help. What's your expertise like on roof boxes? And we're not talking about roof boxes for learner signs for driving school vehicles. We're talking about the sort of like spaceship size extra roof boxes that you put on your rails. Isn't that correct, Simon?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah, I don't need a big sign on the top of my Audi. Everybody knows it's me anyway. No, I'm going to confess I inherited mine. It was the father-in-law's, and he. I don't know whether I pseudo inherited it or whether I stole it. Anyway, I borrowed it, and he's never wrote back.
Long-term borrow.
Yeah, but I borrowed it when we got married. If you'd have seen the state of our car when we went to go and get married, it had got the roof box on. This is when we had a Mercedes estate C-Class. Roof box on, two bikes either side, and it was full to the roof from tailgate to back seat. It was absolutely fully loaded because we were doing all the wedding stuff ourselves, and then we were going on honeymoon, cycling down in the forest area. So, so that's the roof box I've got on. All I've done is I've changed the rails and the feet according to which vehicle I've got it on.
Okay.
And this one's been pimped up. So
good effort. You give it a little bit of a lick of paint, or just
yeah. Because I couldn't put a pale grey roof box on a blue and black car. So no. Much to the amusement of my neighbours, I was spray painting it on the driveway the other week.
Good. Are they quite interchangeable between different roof rails and stuff? Is it just the fixings that go on them, Simon? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, most of the times they're just U-bolts, and they've got adjustment spaces so you can have according to where the roof rails fits. Because some roof rails on different vehicles you don't get a choice where you put them if they're fixed into the roof rails. But I've got a bit of a choice on mine, so I can move it as far back as I can.
Good. Excellent. One little thing, just talking about keeping with cars. I know it's something that you were quite amused when I sent you it the other day about. I'd just like to talk about this, to be honest. It's my Volvo and its tendencies to force me to tailgate people.
Oh, yeah. That message did make me chuckle. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's me. But I'd just like to have a little talk about it. My new Volvo with its mild hybrid system, it's the B4 engine. I only realised, to be honest, quite recently, it shows you how much I actually look at my dash. When you back off the gas from many speeds, if there's no accelerator being used whatsoever, the engine totally shuts down. So I didn't realise this, but I kept on being too close to people because I naturally try and drive in a manner that I'll utilise engine braking to reduce the amount of braking that I have to do, because I think if you're constantly on and off the brake, to anyone who's ever followed a Tesla or an electric vehicle, which you come off and instantly the brake lights come on and come on and come on. It's not just Teslas, it's many of the electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. But I try and drive in a manner to then reduce brake lights coming on. And I've only just realised that it's probably down to the car and how it operates and how quickly it rolls when the engine turns off without engine braking that's caused me just to be in just a little too close on a few occasions. Have you found that cars nowadays, they're not as simple, they're a little bit more technology to them? Do you feel driving different cars makes you have to alter your driving style and habits a little bit more than we used to, Simon?
Oh, 100%. If we're going back to the old days, when it was fairly predictable that when you came off an accelerator, you'd get a degree of engine braking, and your braking efficiency was how hard you press the pedal and things like that. No, it's not even ICE versus electric, as you've discovered on mild hybrid. The way that the technology is introduced, even across different manufacturers, even across different models within the same manufacturer, you have to adapt. We had it in the when we both had Kias. We both had Kia electric vehicles, and I had to adapt my driving style whenever I went out in Carla's Soul, because it didn't perform the same way. Not talking about performance, but the way in which it applied regenerative braking, the way in which it coasted, the way in which it didn't react to traffic, and all of that you just have to do. That coasting thing's interesting because that's what the Audi does. The Audi at highway speed, when you lift off, it just coasts.
Yep.
And will coast for a long time without losing speed.
Yep.
So you do have to get used to that.
Used to that, yeah. Just going on to your point that you just said about different car manufacturers and even different models act in different ways. Quite recently, one of my newer instructors just purchased a car for teaching in 75 plate Focus. It's the mild hybrid system in the Focus. I think it's still the 1 litre EcoBoost engine. And honestly, the mild hybrid system in that is so annoying. It verges on an electric car for its level of regen when you come off the accelerator.
Yeah, right.
And it's really difficult to get used to. I'm suspecting it's probably quite difficult to teach in as well, because especially to a learner driver, if they only drive in one car, which is most of the time what happens if they're sticking with the same instructor, they're going to get used to keeping on the gas for quite a long time and then coming off the gas a little bit later or a fair bit later than the norm. You imagine if that particular driver then got into my Volvo where they come off the gas at that lateness and then it's careering into the car in front. There's potential problems. And these modern systems, they do help. The efficiency on my Volvo, I'll get virtually 50 miles a gallon on the motorway, which is brilliant for a 2 litre turbocharged petrol engine, but they are causing other issues that we've all got to be aware of and adapt our processes to suit.
Mm-hmm. So how long is it going to take you to adapt to this car? I'm being tongue-in-cheek there. Or how long did it take you after you realised that to then adjust your driving?
I'm just going to carry on tailgating, Simon.
Change the bad to BMW on the front. Okay.
No, I'm onto it now. I didn't, as you know, mine's just tooled around towns. And most of the time over the past 3 months that I've had it, it's just meeting up with driving instructors to do a little bit of training. So there's not that many motorway journeys I've done with it. Because I tell you when I noticed it recently. I've done a drive like a driving instructor video where I've also mentioned a couple of those things that I've just talked about, but people are going to hear it first on this podcast, and this video will be out before my drive like a driving instructor one. That's why people should always tune in and watch us talk rubbish, Simon, because things here will be heard first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting because the weather was poor and I didn't bother using adaptive cruise. So therefore I was manually operating the car. Right. And that's when I discovered this particular feature of this car. But I'm onto it now. I think when you recognise your own little mistakes and you analyse your own little mistakes, you're well on the way to sorting them. And I'll be fine with it, but I just wondered, there was a couple of situations where I just ended up too close. And I thought, why is that happening? I haven't changed my attitude. I'm not, I'm getting more impatient as I get older. I'm going the other way, but I'm glad I've sort of worked out some of the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. It still freaks me out that you'll be driving down the motorway and your engine switches off. No.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. Literally zero revs. But I'm suspecting, I trust Volvo to have it covered.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, they're yeah. And if you do end up in the back of somebody, you've got 16 million airbags that'll all go off and save you, so you can sit in your cocoon and you'll be all good.
Probably wouldn't even feel it, Simon. Good effort. So yeah, that was my bit of car stuff. I don't know whether I haven't let Simon know about this, everyone, but I suppose I'm going to just let people know what I've also done over the last couple of weeks. I've thought about purchasing a toy, a driving toy, that is. I had to clarify that. And it's trying to get my love of driving back a little bit. And I must admit, it's something that I've gone over even on this podcast about I don't hate driving, but I just don't enjoy it. I wouldn't go and pick up a set of keys and just go and take the car out for a drive. I'll go out with the dogs and go somewhere nice, but you can't even have a spirited drive with the dogs in the back as well, because they'll be chucked around the estate car. Yeah. So I've thought about recently purchasing a Caterham.
What?
And I actually...
As a dyed-in-the-wool Westfield owner, and you mention Caterham, I can't believe that's just stabbing me through the heart.
Well, they're
joking,
similar type of motor vehicles, Simon. And I think I've said on here before, if there was a car that I would have, probably a Mazda MX-5, I'd go down something like that route. But it's still, the Caterham's probably an extreme version of that small engine, lightweight rear-wheel drive vehicle that has a fair bit of driver engagement. So I actually went and had a look at them. They're expensive pieces of kit. All right, you can buy them secondhand, but I don't think that I'm mechanically minded enough to be looking after it in the way that you would probably look after something like that yourself, Simon. So I'm really undecided at the minute. My other issue is I've got nowhere to put it. But I'm trying to get my love of driving back. So that's sort of where I'm at with me driving, mate.
There's always somewhere you can put it. And if it's a toy, then it doesn't need to be your daily driver. It doesn't need to be accessible at a moment's notice to go down to the shops. Yeah, I mean, I really do genuinely joke. I've got a lot of friends in the catering community from when we were doing our tours, because I was a member of the Sevens.net community, which is ambivalent to whatever make. It's Sevens style vehicles. Yep. Catering and the stuff that they're doing at the minute. So what technical questions then? So what engine would you go for?
The one that I was originally looking at, it was the 360S, which is the road version. It would be the SV chassis, the larger chassis, because I'm right on that cusp of being able to fit in the little one. I can, but it's quite tight with leg space, even with the steering wheel. It doesn't have to be quick. I think it's the 2-litre engine, 180 brake horsepower. So you're talking, it's way quick enough. But there are a right few quid new. You can get all different engines. The K Series 1.6, you can get all different engines, even in the second-hand market, which are a lot more affordable. But actually, when I went over to the Caterham dealership, the salesperson did a brilliant job. He talked to me about the Caterham Academy,
all right.
which is you can purchase a car and costs, but then you're entered into the Caterham Racing Academy for the whole year. Race, sort of like costs and everything. You have to be a total noob. You get put through your race license and all different stuff. But the problem with that is it's only the smaller chassis. So not sure whether it's something suitable, but it is something that I'm looking at to try and get my love of driving back, because I'm bored to death with it. I'm not bad at it, but I just don't have that same passion for it that I probably used to. I probably have more passion for educating others than driving myself, if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. And, for all the years that we had the Westfield, it still hands down the best driving experience of any vehicle that I've driven, and I've got quite a lot to my name now. But yeah, and even at 180 horsepower, you've got plenty. I think, what did mine have? Mine had 210, but it had 221 foot-pound of torque, so it was
pulled like a train. Yes, yeah. But that sort of like absolutely raw, basic driving experience is something that a lot of people are lacking. You know, we've talked about it even when you drove my my Focus ST. You know, the blip and the throttle for the lower gear changes and heel and towing and bits and bobs. It's those type of skills that, especially when you move to an automatic, obviously you're going to lose. And I don't want to lose those skills. I want to keep them and practice them and you know, keep trying to get better at things.
Yeah, good.
But it's on hold. It's on hold at the minute.
On hold at the minute. Well, keep us abreast of what's going on there, because that's obviously an interesting topic. That's good. Good. Yeah. Like you said, your bread and butter is in the driver education space and how you can improve people. I've got a sort of two sideways topics to that, if you don't mind.
Of course.
It's been a while, and I'm not trying to get you on your soapbox, but it's been a while now since the new highway code regs came in. But one thing occurred to me is that I was trying to work out how many people have passed their driving test under those new regulations. And this was prompted by, there was a news article that said that the pass rates are going up. We're now over 50% pass rates for the first time in 5 years.
That's
so
convenient.
I did a bit of digging.
Sorry, I had to just get that one in there. That's convenient. Yeah, sorry, Simon. No cynicism about the DVSA in that comment from Ashley, but yeah, go on.
I think there might have been a little bit.
Touch. Yeah.
Yeah. But interestingly, if you actually run the numbers from the date that the new highway code came in, to 29th of January 2022, it equates to about 9% of the drivers on the road have now passed their test under the new regulations. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it does, to be honest. It does. That's quite significant. I would have thought, though, and this is just the first thought that comes into my head, the people abandoning the aspects or some of the aspects of those highway code changes, I would say would be outweighing the people who are taking them on board and applying them because they've passed their test. I still think it's the right way, personally, to give pedestrians priority on the entrance and exit to junctions. But I think people are getting that fed up with the inconsistency of being the only person who it seems to be giving way to people in the correct manner. I think people are just getting fed up with it and abandoning those good habits, as opposed to being steadfast with them, being good with them, setting a good example. I don't think more people are applying those rules like they should be, even with the extra numbers coming on the road.
Yeah. And that's exactly the response I was expecting. It's easy for me to go, 9% of the drivers have passed the driving test. But, I mean, how many of the people that are on the road drive according to the way that they pass their test anyway? And particularly in this instance, it's just going to be easier for them to conform to the norm and not do what the highway code says they're supposed to do just because nobody else is doing it.
You're right.
So those habits just fall in 1 or 2 weeks.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I know you will still be sticking to them in the same way that, I'm sticking to them, Simon, but do you think people will be getting fed up with them and, just being the odd one out and just going, well, I tell you what, I'm just going to just do as the rest of the population, and sort of like it might even be safer because that's what most people do. Therefore, the understanding is probably a little bit easier and safer. What do you think?
I agree. I'll spin it slightly differently and say, in the instances where I could have given priority to pedestrians, in any circumstances, whether that's turning into a junction or off a roundabout or any of those systems, I reckon it's a lot less than half of those circumstances where I have, purely because it was safer for me to carry on because I do not trust the person behind me to understand what I'm doing.
I found myself doing exactly the same thing just before the weekend, and it's a roundabout that I don't know whether you remember the video that I did where I superimposed a pretend zebra crossing across the mouth of a roundabout. And it's not far from Norris Green Driving Test Centre. It's a flat-sided roundabout, and it's a classic for people using the shops, which are pretty close by, to then be crossing at this exit. And I'd said on one of the first videos within the first few months, it should be even just painted zebra lines across the entrance and exit, just like we have on many places around the world, and especially on the continent in Europe. But the other day, some guy was waiting there with a pram, and I chose to make exactly the same decision as you've just talked about. I decided to carry on because I couldn't trust the people behind. And that is multiplying, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the circumstances that we're in. So 9% apparently of drivers on the road should know the new regulations, but probably 0.09% of them actually do it.
I will also add with that even those 9% who have passed the test since the regulations changed, I would probably say there's a very small percentage of those regulations that are being taught by driving instructors, because I don't know many driving instructors who would be teaching students to be giving themselves an option of giving way at the exit of a roundabout to a pedestrian. I think most of them categorically across the board would just go no. And that also comes from the DVSA's poor application of it. I've said before in a different video, I've had people fail a learner test for doing exactly that, giving way to a pedestrian, when it actually says in the highway code you should do if it's safe. And the examiner says it wasn't an official crossing, and that just sums it up. So even with that 9%, the actual people who are following these rules and carrying out, proper assessment and doing things in the correct way is going to be even smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That brings me nicely onto another topic. We've had a letter.
Oops. Is it about me flashing my lights and trying to barge people out of the way on the motorway? No.
No. Actually, we've had a letter, and it's from one of our long-standing and repeating viewer stress listeners who I went to university with, and he's nicely left me with a question for you to answer, but at the same time made me feel very old, because his youngling is about to start driving, and his question is basically this: he's not going to be instructing his offspring to do the driving, but he will be sitting alongside him when he's practicing, drive with mum and dad. What he wanted to know is there an obvious source of what an instructor these days will be looking for, rather than just reading the highway code? Is there something that, as a refresher, he could go and look at and go, this is what bring me up to date, so I know I'm not correcting or enhancing bad habits of mine onto the young one?
Yeah, this is an easy one. My YouTube channel. That's it. Honestly, if he watched a few of the Drive Like a Driving Instructor videos, different topics, we've got all different stuff on mirrors, we've got stuff on progress, we've got even stuff on performance vehicles, which probably isn't too much down the line of what a youngling should be thinking. Saying that, there's an element of progress that you need to be able to make to do things safely. Even some of the learning points that I put out, they're all perfect viewing for people to try and build their habits. There's a few other decent people on YouTube. Conquer Driving's a decent one as well. There's a few more mainstream ones who have got even more viewers and subs. Saying that, Conquer Driving, I think they're doing amazing. I think they've got over 1 million now as well, so congratulations. But there's a few more popular ones, I would say, on YouTube who still make me cringe with some of the things that they go about. So be careful of who you watch. That's what I would say.
Yeah, but basically stay tuned to Ashley because he's the source of fountain of all knowledge. But
go on, Dan.
But yeah, absolutely. Good luck, Andy, with your sitting alongside a new driver.
Yep. Scary process. It is without dual controls as well. One little piece of advice I would give to anyone who's sitting next to a family member is you have to plan way further up the road than you do to deal with it yourself. Because don't forget that person sitting next to you, if you say to them off the gas, gently brake, they've got a process to go through to actually work out those commands. Whereas if I said the same thing to you, Simon, you'd just hit it like that.
Yeah.
But that learner driver has to go off the gas. Hang on a minute. Which one's that? Oh, it's that right one. Great. Gently brake. Which pedal's that? Oh, middle one. Which foot do we use for that? Oh, yeah, right one. What does gently mean? Oh, about the thickness of a pound coin. So the point is, you've got to plan far enough to then give the person next to you enough time to act with their speed of control, so they've got enough time to do it. So try and get 6 or 8 seconds further up the road if possible.
Yeah. And 10 seconds if it's something like steer away from the bus. No, steer away from the bus.
Yeah. Just on that as well, and this, you're right, Sam, absolutely. The important part to that, sorry, mate, I've just got to get my sensible head on here, because this could save someone having a collision as well. Any instructor who is in a car without dual controls, or any parent or family member who's supervising a novice driver, teach them one thing right at the start. If I say stop, that middle pedal, you press it as hard as you can. Doesn't matter if it stalls, but they must be able to follow that instruction, stop. And if they do that, you'll cure most things.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Very good point. Glad you made it. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
We've had another letter.
Oh, complaint.
I know.
Is that about me? Is that about me tailgating in my Volvo?
No. No. I'll save that one for next time.
Good effort.
No, this was an interesting one actually. This is from a viewer / listener called Aaron, who sent us in a link to an article around cycling, which I think we can use in our conversation here, because it takes us right back to our first conversations around cognitive load. And this is it's a French name, but it's the authority in charge of sports cycling, introducing a regulation that constrains the size of cycling computer screen.
I've been sent a link to this as well.
Yeah. So I think so. The intent here is to reduce the cognitive load of cyclists, to make them more safer and keep everybody on a safe path while they're on sports cycling. But that carries through that if they're doing that in that space, what's happening with us with all our multiple screens and distractions within the car, which is getting worse. I sat in my Audi today in preparation for this conversation and counted the number of things on my dashboard and on my heads-up display, and it's 26 items of data.
Wow.
It's just bonkers.
It is. You know what? It sort of, it makes me quite proud thinking about what I said before and how many weeks it's taken me to realise my engine totally shuts off when I come off the pedal in my Volvo, that I didn't even notice it. And I always say I could quite happily turn my dashboard off and still be totally fine. I'll make the occasional mistake where I'll go a little bit quick, but generally I keep within that. And I still think those skills are lacking on people a touch. And what you've just said about that link to cars compared to cycling computers was exactly the same thing that went through my mind. So, yeah, thank you. Who is this that sent this in, sorry?
It's Aaron.
Aaron, thank you. Can't remember who sent me. He may have sent me it as well. I don't know. I'm not sure.
You will have had a copy of the same email, but there's no guarantee that you'll have read it.
No. Sorry, Simon. Sorry. I've to be honest, I'm about 3 weeks behind, even downloading clips that people have sent me. I think the last batch that you sent through, I've just downloaded as well, Simon. So thank you for sending me them. To everyone else, sorry, I'm just chasing my tail at the minute. It's just one of those times in my life that I can do with two of me, and there isn't, unfortunately. So I will get round to things. It's just manic. That's all.
No, it's good, but absolutely don't slow down sending the clips in. I'd rather Ashley have the problem of being too busy and not being able to download them than not have a source of content. But so be prepared for an onslaught of French interactions over the next couple of weeks, because I'll certainly be capturing the whole lot. I've even invested in another memory card because the last trip I did couldn't quite fit onto two. So
okay. Good effort.
Capture the whole lot.
Good. How would you class the drivers in France? What are they good at and what are they poor at compared to us Brits and us people from the UK?
It's quite a contrast in my experience, because I do such a lot of the journey down to my friend's house on the auto route. So I experience, truck drivers and people that are travelling long distances, ignoring the tourists because they don't count. But the French drivers, what they are very good at is lane discipline. Most auto routes are 2-lane, and it is very, very rare you'll end up sat behind somebody who hasn't moved back across. And in most cases, they're a tourist. They are very good at getting back to their near side and out of the way. And that you can't fault them for that at all. Good. When you get into the towns, though, standards drop a lot. Okay. Particularly in the rural areas where we go and stay, because they just don't care. They will ignore stop signs. They will ignore speed limits. They will ignore pretty much everything because they're, that kind of attitude. You have to switch your mode. Basically, coming off the auto route, you think, right, now I have to pay a bit more attention now because it's going to happen.
Just going back to your auto route observation of decent lane discipline, it's something that came from my lane hogging video the other day. That do you think this would be good practice to include in the UK? And first of all, do the people in France use it? Say if there is someone in front of you and you're potentially travelling faster than them, do they sit, and it would be a left signal on for them, do they sit with a left signal on to encourage the person in front of them to hurry up, get out of the way, or do they just tailgate? How do they go about doing it? Is that common practice in France?
Not that I've observed.
Okay. I know that it is practice in different parts. I'm not sure exactly what countries. I've not driven in loads of countries in Europe. But how
Germans will definitely do that.
Yes. Do you think that is a good practice? And do you think, I'm not saying we could start it, but could we encourage people to then, rather than tailgate, sit with a right signal on to encourage the vehicle that you're intending to go past, that I would like to go a little bit faster than you. When you do have time, please move back to the left, because it's also a brilliant communication to the vehicles that are following you that you're not just sitting in lane 3 or lane 2, or generally it's going to be in lane 3 when we're going to do it, or the fastest lane, the fastest overtaking lane. It would also be a good communication to the people behind that you're not just being oblivious, lazy, and just sitting in that lane. How do you think people in the UK would adopt to that practice if it was used?
I don't think people would adopt it very well. I think because we'd start off with going, oh, this is a new instruction, let's try this out, and people will just assume that they've put their indicator on and forgotten to turn it off, and then ignore it. Or they would treat it as I don't care if you've got your indicator on, I'm doing my speed.
Yeah. That attitude does shock me a lot as well, to be honest. And even within the comment section of my video, I found that attitude that you've just presented there is commonplace, that I'm doing the speed limit. People should not be going faster than me. And the key is we're not judge and jurors over everyone else. There may very well be an unmarked police car that you don't know about. There could be a number of reasons why people are travelling faster. And even if they are, let them go. Let them pick up the fine. Let them do what they want. You cannot control that situation. You shouldn't try and control that situation. But yeah, I think that mindset's rife.
You just triggered that, actually, because isn't that, as you describe, isn't that a technique that the police do use if they want to come past you? They are going to sit just slightly off-site to you, sit out towards the verge with a signal on, without having to use the blues and attract attention. That's what a particularly unmarked car will do, to just attract attention to you, to say, get out.
Yeah, they will also as well flash, close the space down, not to a dangerous level, give the car in front a chance to see that, and then if they don't, drop back, flash again, repeat. So that can be another little technique that can be used on occasions.
Yeah. Maybe they're driving a Volvo and they don't realise the tailgating.
They will absolutely be driving a Volvo most of the time. Most of the police motorway cars are Volvos, see. It's down to the car. I'm giving our police officers of the UK a nice excuse there. Funny.
Yeah. That's good information, and as always, we appreciate the letters and comments that we get, because it gives us something to feed back on, and long may they continue.
Absolutely.
What's coming up for you? I know I've got my trip to France, but what's occurring?
Yeah, I'm planning a trip. I don't know when at the moment, but I'm planning a trip to the south coast. I think we're going to go and stay with family in London for a night, and then head down towards south coast, probably Hastings, jump across towards Southampton, where one of my lads is. Go and have a little look at the Jurassic Coast, go and take the dogs down there, and then maybe pop up to Bath. As you can see, I've got a little route planned across the south coast, and then probably stay somewhere in Wales. So we'll probably have a week away, just staying at a little doggy-friendly Airbnb along the way. Don't know when we're going to do it, but I might try and borrow a vehicle for that purpose from a car manufacturer. I have got something planned. We're going to keep that one quiet just for now, though. And then what else? Oh, just on that, I'd like to give, if it's okay, a little plug to my new channel. Myself and Liz have just opened a new YouTube channel. It's called 24 Paws. The tag is at 24 Rescue Paws, and it's about myself and Liz living with 6 rescue animals, and we're going to try and promote the possibility, if people are looking for an animal, to consider a rescue animal. There will always be people who will purchase a dog from a reputable breeder, and there are so many benefits of that, but there's also different benefits of rescue animals, and that's what we're trying to promote. I've got a little meet-up with a guy called Mark shortly, who is doing a 250-mile walk with his dog. I think his dog's probably going to be in a little trailer getting pulled for a bit, not necessarily just walking all the way, but Mark's doing a 250-mile walk for Battersea rescue dogs. So I'm meeting up with him quite shortly. But if people could just check it out and give us a little follow, it just helps, again, me to get the decent messages out about the correct things, in a similar way I do with the driving education channel, and a similar way that I do with the cycling channel. The rescue dogs, it's going to be, or the rescue animals, it's going to be me and Liz most of the time as well. So you don't just have to put up with my ugly face. You can look at Liz's ugly face. Oops.
Oh gosh.
Oh, by the way, hang on a sec. I'm sorry. I have to say this. My missus is good as gold. She really is. She's allowed me the freedom to be creative and do what I've done over the past 15 years on YouTube. And it was my 30th wedding anniversary yesterday. So I just want to say
congratulations.
Thank you. I'd just like to say a big thank you to my better half, Liz.
And my question is, was the naming of the channel your way of saying to Liz, no more? We've got enough animals. Because now we can't have any more because we have to change the name of the channel.
You know what, Simon? It wasn't, but it did cross my mind.
You're not joking.
I know. But it did cross my mind that if another animal really in need came up that fitted into our pack, they call it cats. I think it's a clutter of cats. I think it is. But if anyone came into our pack, I'm sure that it wouldn't really make a difference. No, the name 24 Paws is all set and all staying.
Oh, set paws. That made me laugh. This is a complete tangent. The next door neighbours are having some work done. That included pouring some concrete footings for a wall. And I went and looked at it last night. It's got four very tiny paw prints in it where their cat has leapt off the wall into the footings for the thing. So I hope there's not a cat wandering around with concrete boots on. But,
yeah, absolutely. How's your main man? How's Athos?
He's good. We've been and got his health certificate yesterday so that he's ready for his trip to France.
Good.
Cracking bill of health. He behaved himself impeccably at the vets for once.
Good.
Apart from turning down a snack. I know.
Strange.
I know.
Does he like the vets or?
Well, she tried to offer him a pedigree smackerel or whatever they're called, and he really doesn't like those. He's a bit snobby when it comes to stuff like that. So he spat it out on the floor, and she was like, "Oh." I went, yeah. He'll take one of these though, as I gave him a piece of venison, and she went,
posh boy. That's it. Absolutely. But apart from that, Simon, not much else to report. I still haven't got dual controls in my Volvo. Still waiting on He-Man to get back to me. That's another month down the line. Driving wise and work wise, I'm just inundated with instructors, but you know what? It's just normal stuff at the minute. Just playing catch up. I've had a full day out even today. Come home, grab a bite to eat, podcast with Simon, and then I'm straight into video editing, probably up until midnight. So is what it is. But there you go.
It's good to be busy, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Absolutely.
It's good. Shall we draw this to a gentle close, releasing off the gas and letting it coast to a stop?
By being way too close to people in front. Yes, good idea. Superb.
So just a reminder to viewers and listeners, as I said earlier, it's always really appreciated when we get those good comments and feedback. And if you do have a longer form question, by all means, email us at the address hello@thesmartdrivepodcast.co.uk, and one of us will answer you and certainly pick it up in the next podcast.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I do promise to you here and now, Simon, as well, we will try and do the next podcast from my Volvo. I just haven't had a chance because I've been too busy. I did say to Simon last time that we'll do this one in my Volvo, but the next one, I promise I'll find a little bit of time and we'll come and do it while having a drive of my tailgating machine.
Fabulous. I'll try not to crash it. Anyway, right. As always, Ashley, thank you very much for your time this evening. Thank you, viewers and listeners. We will speak to you again soon.
Keep safe. Thank you.
Goodbye.